Thanks, Senator Grassley. I'd like to say a word and get your reaction on the question of agricultural research. Since the 1930s, U.S. government-funded ag research has helped to boost our farm output by 170%, according to the USDA. Today, most agricultural research in the U.S. is funded by large private sector companies, not the government. Agriculture research funded by the U.S. government has plummeted in the past 30 years, while Chinese government investment in ag research has risen 8 times, surpassing the U.S. 10 years ago. Today, China is the world's biggest funder of government-funded farm research. Trump administration and the Doge cowboys want the USDA to close and consolidate a federally funded laboratory at the University of Illinois, the Soybean Germplasm Collection, which is a genetic seed bank whose scientists since the 1940s have cured soybean disease, improved soybean yields, and developed new varieties and uses, again creating new markets for farmers. If this lab and its resources are closed or diminished, there is only one other remaining lab. You want to guess where it is? China. Is there anyone on this panel that thinks that that's a good idea? Obviously not. Mr. Latham, that kind of resource and and federal research has to be part of your calculation as well when you talk about innovation, is it not?
Yes, I would love to see more investment in ag research from public universities. That'd be very helpful.
Well, I hope you'll all express that to your members of Congress and the people you talk to. Dr. Moss, over the last decade, as you've noted and others as well, a series of mergers and acquisitions produced big 3 companies that dominate different sectors. In the seed sectors, it's Bayer, Corteva, and Syngenta. Similar trend produced the big 3 in fertilizer, Mosaic, Nutrien, and CF. Should antitrust enforcers at the FTC and Department of Justice have done more to block these mergers that produces the big 3 in seed and fertilizer?
Thank you, Senator Durbin. The answer is an unequivocal yes. These massive mergers, which have completely restructured our seeds and fertilizer industries, are now responsible for high prices, limited choice, and less effective innovation. The major problem with antitrust today, especially in food and agriculture, is a very narrow view that antitrust takes in defining markets. The divestitures that were taken in the Bayer-Monsanto and the Dow-DuPont mergers were very targeted, very small. And there was a lot of deference to giving companies their mergers so that they could innovate better or innovate faster. We now know that high levels of concentration are not necessary to drive innovation. And these mergers on balance produced more harm than good.
Do you believe the FTC and DOJ need new legal tools to stop the anti-competitive practices of these dominant firms, or is it simply a matter of stepping up oversight and enforcement?
I think antitrust plays a very important role given the limited set of tools, but powerful tools that antitrust works with. The consumer welfare standard can approach concerns about high prices, about lower quality, about less innovation. But the bottom line is most of antitrust enforcement just focuses on prices. The kinds of problems we see in food and ag are bottleneck supply chains, loss of resiliency and stability, a delay of generic entry. These are all things that are much, much harder for antitrust to approach in the normal course of a merger investigation or a monopolization investigation, which is why I mentioned we might want to start thinking about giving USDA more authority.
Mr. Rosenbusch, how do you respond to those observations?
Thank you, Senator, for that question. We believe we need a strong domestic fertilizer industry to compete in a global marketplace, especially when you're looking at countries that are often state-owned enterprises producing fertilizers. We think the FTC has taken a close look at this. As a matter of fact, in the last 2 years, the 2 acquisitions in this space were carefully studied by the FTC and reviewed. And we've also seen the USDA 2 years ago go through a competitive analysis of the industry to ensure that we are competing on a global level and global supply and demand are driving
interrupting, but I have just 20 seconds left. The farmers who are buying your product say you're killing them. You've consolidated so they have few choices, take it or leave it choices, and your prices are killing them. When you say you're competitive globally, it doesn't help the farmer in Illinois and Iowa to know that the global market is competitive. How do you respond to that?
We need the farmers to succeed. They need access to fertilizer.
Killing them with your prices.
And those are all driven by global supply and demand. A lot of these geopolitical events and a reliance on some of that foreign supply coming in is a huge impact on that.